some people can talk about demons all their life, but they can't reveal well how Christ sorted it out. That's what hinders demons. And then it looks like some demons are strong. No, devil is strong.
My name is Isaac, and this is World Digest. Right, let's get straight into it. If you're not aware, camp meeting held by Dominion City has been on over the weekend. Came to an end. When I'm recording this today, Sunday, the 31st of March. Yeah. And it's power packed. Lots of wonderful people. Of course, God's servant, you already know, Apostle Romeo was also there. It was quite an exciting and very powerful time. I'm still going through some of the messages. I was blessed by one of the preachers. I don't know his name now, but he was teaching on deliverance. And that morning, God had just been dealing with me on the same issue. Battles that you didn't fight, then your children are going to be implicated. He was talking about how Joshua didn't finish all the land because he felt they were small and then they would eventually produce Goliath. So lots of wonderful things. I'll leave a link to his message. Very powerful. I think you want to go through it. We'll also go through his session too, or maybe we'll do that. But I want to talk about Dr. Ogbueli's session, one of his sessions where he was talking about deliverance. And there's been this debate as to whether a believer needs to go through deliverance or not. For me, I think some of the debates in the body of Christ are borderline just weird. For instance, I just came across something called universalism, which is, people who believe that somehow, even everybody that goes to hell ends up in hell. Somewhere down the road in hell, God will forgive everybody. How do you believe that? I mean, that we have to counter that is even bothering me. Like, yo, borderline, are you okay? But yeah, so deliverance. Should we do it? Should we not do it? So he had a very powerful message. Let's get a few excerpts from what he said, and then as we do on this program, we'll digest into it for our own gain. And just in case you didn't watch it or you've not been at camp meeting or anything, I'll leave the link to the full thing. You can go get yourself blessed. All right, let's take a look.
There are arguments today in the body of Christ about whether deliverance is necessary or not. Matthew chapter 4. I just want to read something from verse 22 or 23. Just have 10 minutes. Let me show you something quickly. The issue of deliverance is not contestable. It's a biblical it's a reality. It is part and parcel of the gospel. The theology of it is where we have problem. Some of the people who know how to do it don't know how to teach it. That's where we have problem. And that theology of it sometimes defeats what God has in his mind. From verse 23. And Jesus went about all Galilee, teaching in their synagogues, preaching the gospel of the kingdom. Now, notice the things that follow the preaching of the gospel. One of them is healing all manner of sicknesses and all manner of diseases among the people. You can't talk about the gospel and ignore healing. We are supposed to do it the way he did it. If you're preaching the gospel and you are not taking healing along, you're preaching partial gospel. So he went about preaching the gospel of the kingdom and teaching. You notice that there are 4 elements involved in the total gospel. There is preaching, because we need to win the lost. There is teaching, Because those that have been won needs to be discipled and consolidated and made strong. Then the third is healing. The same Jesus who died for our sin, died for our sicknesses. In the same cross where he paid for sin, he paid for our ailments. Then watch verse 24. And his fame went throughout all Syria, and they brought unto him all sick people that were taken with diverse diseases and torment, and those that are now, watch now. We are now moving beyond just sickness to demonic problems. And those that were possessed with devils, and those that were lunatics, even with mental illness. Not everybody who has demonic problem has mental illness. That's why the Bible specified that. And those that have palsy like strokes, and he healed them. So you see, the gospel, it has the preaching of the message of the cross, the message of salvation, so that people can be saved. Then teaching the kingdom. The curriculum of the kingdom is wider than the message of salvation. When it comes to making disciples, raising strong believers, the message that gets people saved, the gospel of grace, is just 10%. The gospel of the kingdom is 90%. The gospel, one message, but it has two sides. One is the saving message, the salvation message, the message of the cross, the message of redemption. And it's not a complex message. It's not complex. Then you have to teach and preach the kingdom, which is a larger curriculum. Then you have to get people who are sick healed, and then those who are tormented and oppressed by the devil set free. Then you have delivered the message. You want to follow in the footsteps of Jesus. He said, as my Father sent me, so send I you. So just like salvation cannot be contested, it's part and parcel of the gospel. Healing cannot be contested. The same way, deliverance cannot be contested. It is the theology of it. Some people mess up the message of salvation. Some mess up the message of healing. Tomorrow you will see how people will be healed like no man's business. Just make it clear and simple, and you make it easy for people to access it. It's the same thing with deliverance. It's the theology of it that we are still struggling with. I'm going to say one or two things now. If you want to be strong in the healing ministry, first go and listen to people who understand the cross and who teach it well and understand the message of the cross. If you want to be strong in deliverance ministry, listen to those who teach the cross very well and understand the message of the cross. Because you see, all ministries has two sides. One side is diagnosis, the other side is the cure. Some are very good with diagnosis, but they don't provide the cure. And so when it comes to delivering the goods, people keep struggling and going up and down. Some people can preach about sin, but they don't reveal well how Jesus dealt with it on the cross. Some people can talk about sickness, but they don't reveal well how Jesus sorted it out on the cross. And this is what hinders healing. And some people can talk about demons all their life, but they can't reveal well how Christ sorted it out. And that's what hinders demons. And then it looks like some demons are strong. No devil is strong. All of them were defeated on the cross. If you over magnify this diagnosed part without balancing it with the solution, which is the cross, you now give the Satan and demons powers they don't have. Those things that have been defeated now gain new strength. Now, there is also another group of preachers who completely deny the problems. They deny that there is sin. They be preaching useless grace. They deny that there are sickness. They deny that there are demonic problems. All of them are problems, and they preach powerless gospel that can't help anybody. So they are the ones that will tell you, you don't need deliverance. There is nothing like deliverance again. Why don't they also say there is nothing like sin anymore? Why don't they also say that there is nothing like sickness anymore?
Okay, welcome back. Now, you've obviously seen a few things that he said. I want to draw on something that I think is very important. I've had my own struggles with it. In fact, the first time I did a Bible study on my own, and I didn't have a Bible app then, it was just my Bible, it was in concordance. It was in, I think, 2016? No, 2015. I was going through all kinds of stuff. And I was in this place, and then I saw people manifesting demons. And I came from a church background where I didn't really see that. So I was like, what's going on here? And then I went through my Bible and saw that, oh, Jesus cast out devils. Okay. But there was still something that was wrong with what I was seeing. And that's what I want to talk about, because he talked about it. So there are people who emphasize on demons, deliverance, deliverance, demons, deliverance, demons, deliverance. And they do it so much so that it begins to make you feel somehow as if Satan is so mighty. And that's what he touched on in his presentation. Then you have another set of people who are, I don't know how they take what Paul preached. And that's where there is also this other weird thing that Satan is now trying to introduce, that there are some things Paul preached that we shouldn't adhere to because it doesn't connect with what Jesus preached. That is heresy. Paul said he is an apostle of Jesus Christ. He is an apostle of Jesus Christ. What that implies is that he is serving the purpose of Jesus. So by default, there's no way he will come and write something that contradicts Jesus. It's not possible. He also said that the life, it is no longer I that live, but Christ that lives in me. What that means is everything you find me doing, my actions, my decisions, I'm a theater that is manifesting Christ. It's Christ that's living through me. It's his will that I'm expressing. It's his writings. If he was the one here writing now, that's what he would write. So by the Spirit of Christ in me, I write these things. Paul casted out devils. So how would someone come and say, this is Paul? Anyway. So there are the extremists who feel that somehow the teachings of Paul excludes them from deliverance, and there's nothing like deliverance again for the believer. That's also wrong. When you study the Bible and you study the teachings like he pointed out, there is a need for deliverance. But we shouldn't go to the point where, there's a book by Apostle Aaron Osai called Decimating Demonic Devices. And he categorizes 4 types of people when it comes to the issue of deliverance. All right. I'll just put it on the screen. 4 types of people. And in his categorizing, you have the people who are on the extreme side. And you don't want to be on either of the extremes. All right. Especially the ones that just don't think there's any form of deliverance. Jesus taught about it. Paul taught about it. All right. So it's weird for me when I find that simple things like this are still debatable. Now, I don't have the time to really go into Bible study to support his position, but I'm just putting his position forward and saying I stand with Dr. David's position that there are situations where a believer will have to be delivered. Many situations. you find out that in the ministry of Jesus, there were sicknesses that the healing had to do with expelling out the devil. When you cast out the devil, the sickness is gone. We see that going on into the ministry of the apostles. So what do you call that? It is when you casted out the devil that the sickness left. That's deliverance. So let's not preach falsehood and enhance Satan. All right, let's not preach falsehood and enhance Satan and preach a kind of gospel that is so polished. We don't want to deal with demons. We don't want to cast things out. Just believe and we will snare people. We will snare people. We cannot preach lies. All right. So I just wanted us to see that real quick. See what he said there. Love you to listen to the full message and trust that if there's any area of your life that you're trusting the Lord for the hand of His mighty deliverance, you will experience it. All right. Thank you so much for watching, and God bless you. And please subscribe. Please also like, share, make sure someone sees this video. And this is what I just mighty call. Bye bye.